I joined acting because of the opportunity to be part of something I had only watched for years.
Over the course of YouTube history, over 450 people have been actors on this very server.
I joined TNT Acting because I wanted to be in the videos.
Some got to act many times, some acted very little, but we all joined with one idea in mind.
I joined acting because I wanted to be part of a fun community and be in videos.
That idea was to help Exploding TNT create his videos.
I joined acting because I love Exploding TNT's videos.
I'm Angel, and I was TNT's top actor for many years. I've been in over 200 videos, and on the day of this upload is my 10th acting anniversary. To commemorate the efforts of all actors, I decided to create this video. The earliest years of acting today have largely been forgotten. Even though those of us who were there, our memories are fading further into obscurity, and footage of the actor perspective is incredibly rare.
I think being able to explore the sets are the most fun part, just because I like exploring on Minecraft. I built a giant wither skeleton for some reason. Oh no, it was just a giant wither in general. And I put a house in it. Nobody liked it except for me, but I remember it.
I do remember the server at that time was rather quiet. Yes, we did have friends. In fact, one of my best friends at the time was Eye of the Sliders. However, to my memory, generally we would only be on when TNT came to record. That's when the majority of our tomfoolery occurred. When we did act, it was a rather simple ordeal.
At the time when we got picked to act, it was a very random selection. Sometimes he'd ask, hey, can I teleport you? Other times he just teleported you randomly. At the time when just beginning on the server, you picked up tricks from learning on your own or from watching other people. There was no other specific roles that people were selected to do because it was just random selection.
Now of course, some people were preferred for very specific roles. Ubik Nick was highly favored as an actor for Pink Sheep because it was quite difficult for regular people to do. Naturally though, I stole his spotlight later. Sets had to be built, maps altered for videos, and so the builder and later junior builder ranks were a necessity.
You have the main builders. Those guys were privileged. They had world edit. The JR builders, we didn't trust them with world edit. They're the newbies. What if they blow up the server, you know? It happens. But anywho, it was awesome to have them because they needed to be there to make the videos happen.
Yellow SV was the first ever builder, and he had enjoyed access to creative mode and world edit at a time where actors only had survival. Shortly after this, we also had the junior builder rank be created. They had access to creative mode, but not world edit.
Many years ago, when I was still an actor, we wouldn't always act the entire time we were on the server, because it was only like small bursts of like acting sessions, I guess you could call it. That led to people doing like other stuff on the server, like building. Thing is, we only had access to survival mode at the time, and that led to many actors asking operators for the creative command, and that got to a point where I kind of got tired of that, so I actually applied for junior builder just for the sake of having the creative command, and later on I became a builder, and that's how I began building sets for the videos.
Some years later, the junior builder rank would be abolished due to actors receiving all the same perks that the rank once had. Prior to the removal on the server, however, there was another rank. During 2016 to 2017, the now named classical era of the server saw a massive surge in active players. People weren't just coming on to act anymore, they were on to build a lively server with things to do and hang out in.
I want you to imagine a pack of wild horses out, living their best life, eating grass, and then all of a sudden a zoo comes in. Full on elephant, zebra, giraffe, whatever. So all of a sudden you have to build a structure for the zoo, and then you have to hire zookeepers. That's what helpers were. They were just zookeepers.
You see, I was made admin on the server early into 2016, and that made me the only active staff member at that time. I obviously couldn't moderate everything by myself during the population surge in 2016, so having a set of people able to temp ban and mute users was pretty important to keeping order. Jeff DeDerp and traders were major components of creating the more strict rules and fleshing out the roles of helpers on the server, and if you're wondering where TNT himself stood, he never really got involved with server wars or related drama, so it was more on us. Helpers actually became a pretty major part of the server's cultures, and they coincided with the creation of the TNT Acting forums. The forums were a place where actors could ask questions, post helper and builder applications, and keep up to date with the server politics.
The TNT Acting forums weren't just a website. They were our digital town square, our community hall. Every post, every application, every server update announcement felt like it carried real weight because we were such a tight-knit group. From the first time I joined in 2016, I remember staring at that application page constantly, watching as others achieved junior builder or helper status, and I dreamt of my own promotion.
Unfortunately, however, most of the posts have been lost to time because we would purge the forums regularly to keep them clean.
We did have a lot of fun on the server, and we even had clubs. Loser Squad was a thing for Angel, Zar, and I, but don't let the name fool you, it was the best club out of all of them.
The server was filled with all sorts of fun things to do in 2016 and 2017. We had the first ever acting awards, the TNT run on the server was fun, and we had arena survival challenges. Despite some hiccups here and there with behavior, it's important to remember, most of us genuinely were friends.
I feel like at one point we kind of just moved on from logging on to be a part of the videos for TNT and more just focused on hanging out on the server. Like, a lot of the time we were together, we kind of were just like doing Hypixel and all that kind of stuff. Like, it would basically just turn into the usual gaming hours. Like, I don't even know how many times I acted despite being on there since like 2017. But yeah, we would literally just hang out on Hypixel, do Skype calls back when that was a thing. Did a lot of build battles, all that good stuff. Always gave each other the top scores, of course. But yeah, like, it was just a fun place to hang out more than a place to act after a while. And I think that was what kind of kept us coming back after all these, after all the time that we were there.
One of the most iconic and still seen aspects of the classical era of the server is the memes. You can find many examples of the memes that were common on our server if you just go through some of the old Twitter pages we had dedicated to them.
Creeper's taxing was relentless and unstoppable. I had millions of acting dollars, but because of his flawed inflation system, it was worth absolutely nothing. And he took so much taxes that I had a negative balance for the longest time. I never even looked at it because I knew it was always atrociously bad. And I know many actors have felt the same way because he's done this to everybody.
Luigi then went on to be the only helper that got fired, but the biggest creation from this era is the family tree. Early into 2017, my friend 4bit and I came up with the way to track every actor that had ever joined. This family tree has been consistently updated for as long as new people have continued to join the server, and it has grown to over 450 actors. Madison found herself going through old Bycraft records and watching all of TNT's older videos just to find an actor's first appearance. That way, older generations of actors got properly placed as best as they could. Of course, due to changing climates and politics on the server, some things didn't grow.
Well, helpers were like needed at one point, yeah, so it was our own word for moderator, pretty much, and I was in the last server wave, like me, two others, in like 2017 or 18, and you know, that's about the time the server started to slow down, and you know, people were going up, naturally, the need for helpers kind of dissipated, and since we were picked out, went through a lot to get our roles. We were given builder roles as compensation, mostly since everything had finally quieted down. I'd honestly say it was pretty fair.
The junior builder rank had also been completely removed at the same time, and unlike the helpers, they weren't compensated whatsoever. And the reason for there being no compensation for junior builders is pretty simple. Everything they could do at one point became something every actor could do, so no longer did actors have to beg for blocks or creative mode, everyone was able to build freely.
Everyone having creative or not, we still had to train actors, so we offered a bootcamp to them that wasn't mandatory, but you could learn very basic things like PNS and go crazy. Bootcamp in 2016, when I first started, wasn't exactly bootcamp, it was just on-the-spot optional training whether you wanted to practice while they were showing you or not. 2017 was the year a bootcamp was built, and it wasn't mandatory until 2018.
Sometime in around 2017, we did begin trying to teach new actors the ropes before they appeared in videos. You see, that way TNT wouldn't have to waste his time showing people how to act on the spot. He could just record. Ultimately, it was to help the new guys out, especially because some of us like myself were favored in spots due to skill. Of course, all good things must come to an end someday.
Every week we would see Exploding TNT joined the game and a video would get filmed. But as the months went by, the frequency of these filming sessions slowly dwindled. The YouTuber that had brought us together in the first place simply had less of a need for us. As he went on the acting server less and less, the actors themselves became less motivated to participate in the community. And so we entered the Twilight Era of the TNT acting server.
The server was continuing on like it always had. We were acting every week, people were coming on regularly, and changes were still occurring in this era. One of the biggest changes was finally the boot camp became mandatory.
During boot camp, I was told to go into GMS, also known as Survival Mode, and then Angel started explaining how to PNS, also known as Punch, Nod, Sneak, over by the punching bags. Afterwards, I followed Angel over to the Go Crazy mats. He explained how to go crazy. Then I would go and practice this on the Go Crazy mat. Under the mat were magma blocks, so it makes it a bit more intense. After the Go Crazy training, I was told to then take the final test over in the center of boot camp. The final test was just PNSing for 2 minutes straight without stopping. After that, I was then given an overall grade on my performance at boot camp. Around this time, we had letter grades like F, D, C, B, and A. My grade was in C. Boot camp normally at this time was about 10 to 30 minutes long, depending on how many times you messed up.
We trained new actors to do all the basics they would need for videos, PNS, going crazy, and at the end of the training you had to pass a PNS test for 2 minutes to officially qualify you as an actor. As well as the mandatory training, we had also finally updated the server to more modern versions. Up until around 2018, we were still using 1.7.10, but thanks to Kaz, we were finally able to get to the most modern update at that time.
As someone who near exclusively built on the server, I'd say the switch from 1.7 to 1.12 was probably the time I built the most. Not being able to access things like prismarine and red nether bricks was really frustrating at times, and the update finally allowed us to experiment with all the new blocks we had missed out on. The new concrete and glazed terracotta blocks especially were lifesavers, and opened up so many new opportunities for new types of builds we couldn't have achieved before.
Unfortunately, however, the switch to the newest version didn't come without major casualties. See, for reasons I forget now, we had to switch servers, and a major ramification of this was we lost almost all of our builds, sets, and history.
When the TNT acting server reset, it was honestly just really inconvenient. All of our warps got wiped, and any personal structures were pretty much just banished to the void. The main sets were still around, but like the ground was messed up and they more looked like they were kind of just pasted into the terrain. And of course we rebuilt everything, but it was a decently hefty chore to reset all the waypoints and build everything brand new.
We had to start all over again from scratch, and there was controversy with this. The old server had been relegated to a shortly lived visitor server, but that's the key word, short-lived. Years of our hard work and history was lost in an instant, but not all was drab, however. There was still a lot of excitement for the second episode of Lost in Space to come out. I had acted in the first part, and I couldn't explain to you how happy I was to do that, because back in 2015, I was offered to act in Lost Island, but my PC was nowhere near powerful enough to run all the mods that was in it, so I had to sit it out. That time though, I had a good PC, and I took no hesitation to act in those videos. Or, videos is what I would say if the series continued. The second episode was never made, and the series died there. And for the curious, the reason why there was never a second episode is because TNT didn't know where to take the series, so it ended before it even began. But barring some of those hiccups, the server was as active as it's ever been. One of the greatest privileges we got as a community was being the ones to test out the Exploding TNT Discord server before it even launched. Part of our hopes with testing the new Discord server was that we would finally get an official place to put actors. We already had our own private Skype groups and Discord servers, but the official thing would be unbeatable. And we did end up getting our own private channel and rank in the Discord server, but it came at the cost of a small-scale war.
I joined the server off Twitter in November 2018 and got staff within 24 hours. actors. I was an outsider, overwhelmed by the drama I walked into unknowingly. Previously, actors had private chats, but they did not on the Discord then. It became a staff conflict, actors versus Discord staff, that lasted a few months. Actors got their channels in the end, which proved vital and fostered community even when folks weren't on the acting server.
And from there on out, every official news about the server was done in the Discord on our channel. But as you've probably noticed the pattern by now, it didn't matter for much longer. Towards the end of 2019, TNT began uploading less than normal. His schedule was slowing, and by January 2020, he had made a temporary goodbye video. The server went slowly dormant, and we didn't have anything to look forward to anymore. Previously, you could always expect that TNT would be on every Friday and the weekends to record videos, but that guarantee was lost. We had to begin finding our own ways to source our fun, and one of those ways was opening up a survival server called Friends of the TNT Acting. It was opened up for everyone on the Discord to join in and play.
Friends of TNT Acting was a really fun server. It happened in the middle of 2020, so because of COVID, it lasted longer than the typical 2 weeks or so that an SMP lasts now. I remember setting a series of homes as I flew north for tens of thousands of blocks looking for end cities to loot, because that was faster than mining. I also remember building a huge wheat farm for the community with a big fountain in the middle, and that was fun. I think my favorite memory from the server was when I built a fiery magma block rings in the sky to make an elytra flying course. I posted a video where I flew through the course and put the song I Believe I Can Fly in the background. It was a great server with great people. This was also when Exploding TNT had stopped really being active, so we had to find new ways to carry the community along on our own that without him as a central figure to rally behind.
But back on the TNT Acting server, activity hadn't fully died off quite yet. One of the last major events to occur was in August 2020 when 2 of our actors committed a major grief.
About 4 years ago, almost 5 years at this point, we faced a major setback on the Exploding TNT Acting server. You know, our world, a mix of filming sets and personal builds, was supposed to be a creative, safe place for the actors. But then 2 members began griefing, destroying carefully crafted builds both for videos and our own project. It was really devastating. While we did restore the world with backups, unfortunately they were outdated and we lost a lot of builds because, you know, we just didn't have the proper backup for the world. Many builds were lost entirely. Thankfully, we did come together, remove the griefers, and rebuild what was lost.
Those 2 actors were permanently banned and reconstruction efforts were underway immediately. It took a lot of people locating and rebuilding the server to get even a little of what was lost repaired. Even to this day, if you fly around on the server, you'll find remnants of their grief. Our join rates have slowed majorly since then, and even though TNT did cease to make videos, we never gave up on the hope that he would return at some point.
Now, when Sam posted that goodbye video, I thought he was going to be gone forever, like quit YouTube and stuff. But then I saw the video and said he was just taking a small break just to get his head straight, which is understandable. I was waiting super patiently for his break to be over so we can, you know, act again. Unfortunately, TNT Acting has not been the same since then.
The server stayed online and there was still a lot of minor activity. We were still doing builder applications, updates to new versions were being done, and some changes were made to the staff in boot camp. There was genuinely still some life to it.
I became an actor on the server the year that he came back. It was very exciting to see him back and to act for him for the very first time. It was the best time for everyone on the server. We were so happy to act in his silly and beautiful videos. I really hope that Sam comes back soon.
As you all know though, unfortunately this didn't last. TNT once again stopped uploading, and this time it was out of the blue, and with that, a lot of our hope began dissipating slowly over time. But as this hope was dissipating, it didn't go away. By 2022, we had made the acting server free to join, as we figured it wasn't fair to people to pay money for a whitelist when the YouTuber who runs it is dormant. So in the new system we still use to this day, you have to pass boot camp to become an actor.
Whenever a new actor joins, they are taken to the boot camp. First, they go to a class and Abby teaches them the rules, commands and more important stuff. Then after the class, they are taken to the main part of the boot camp and shown how to do the actions like PNS, punch nod, look around and more. You are then taken to the Mile of Treachery, which is a game of Simon Says, while you have to walk on the soul sand whilst performing various acting moves. And at the end of the bootcamp, you are tasked to do the 2-minute PNS test. And after that, your performance is graded from 0 to 10. And after that, you're good to go. Still, the bootcamp was pretty fun, along with the excitement of acting for TNT future videos.
It's rather rare that we do recruitment sessions to get new actors, and when we do them, it's pretty much always just people inviting their friends to join the server. To this day, the server is still up, but it has a skeleton community. Pretty much all of the politics and major activity have all but ended, and we're still stuck in 1.19.3, and it looks like we're not going to update the server anytime soon.
I feel like that guy that came late to the party and everyone else is already leaving, that's pretty much what I can compare my experience with teaching acting to. Because I had joined so late into the game, I didn't really get to act in many videos. I only got to act in like 3. But even with so few moments of acting, I had a lot of fun. And it was also really interesting to see and experience the server and all of the different moments in history with the server and all the different things that people have built. Even seeing like specific landmarks on the server that I've actually seen in videos. It was kind of surreal.
It's really unfortunate this is how things had to be, but as I said earlier, all good things do come to an end eventually. After a full decade of work from TNT and all of the actors, I really do hope I was able to do justice to everything we did. Before you click off this video though, the real ExplodingTNT himself did agree to be in this video, and he has something he wants to say at the end of it. But before that, I just want to say a few more things. The acting server is one of the biggest parts of my life and personal history. I will never forget being on it no matter what, and I loved my time as an actor. There are a lot of actors like Baller, Ziffer, Max Out YT that I haven't seen in years, and I do genuinely miss many of them. So if you are a former TNT actor, please do me a favor and comment your username down below. There's a really high chance I do remember who you are, and I do want the contact. And for the interested, a lot of the videos I used in this were videos uploaded to YouTube by actors. They'll be in a playlist linked below in the description if you want to view them. If you made it this far though, thank you for listening to me and all the other actors. If I can get enough comments on this video, I'll absolutely make a sequel Q&A answering anything you guys may want answered about the acting server, TNT, or the history. But let me stop wasting your time and let you hear from the man himself.
It has been a very long time since I played Minecraft. I don't know any of the controls. So yeah, the acting server. Good times. I made the server I think in 2013, 2014-ish. Before the acting server, I can't even remember what I did before the acting server. I know I used to tweet out the IP on Twitter if I needed a lot of people, which was not a great idea. It was kind of chaotic. So the server really helped out. But yeah, the cool thing about the server was a lot of people would just come here to chill and hang out. I know a lot of people 10 years later, I think the server's been here for 10 years and a lot of people are still friends, which is insane to me. You'd also be surprised, like, look at the builds here. They're pretty crazy. A lot of the actors here were actually really good builders. I promise you, if it wasn't for them, I would, like look at this. That is all I could build. Overall though, honestly, I do really miss this place. The people here were really nice. I honestly don't even want to know how many hours some of us spent here. We'd usually have like 6-hour filming sessions till 3 a.m. And like I didn't do a voice reveal back then, so all our communication was through chat. So if you're an actor, hold on. You remember that. I am really thankful though for all the actors that were on here. Anyway, I really do hope this video goes well. Shout out to Creeper321448, the legend, for putting this all together. It's really cool looking back. I know the server was a big part of my life, obviously, and I think a lot of the actors feel the same way because we spent so much time here. To end it though, thank you again to all the actors, anyone watching. And I'm not a good commentator. I don't really know how to do an outro, so I'm gonna end it right here.